5 red flags to look for when recruiting and hiring cleaners for your business. Let's go. Hello, thank you for being here. Today I'm going to talk about a system that I use within my own cleaning business. I actually have 12 red flags, but today I'm going to share my top 5 with you. So without further ado, let's jump in. Punctuality is super important and is the very first impression after speaking to somebody on the telephone you are going to get of them when they get to interview stage. If I set an interview time for 11 a.m, I would expect the applicant to be there by 10 to. If the client is not going to bother to turn up on time or early for an interview, then what are they going to do when you send them out to your clients or they have to be at a premises at a certain time? It is the first red flag that shows you this person might not be as reliable or as committed as you might need for your team. I would expect an applicant to be dressed smartly. It doesn't necessarily mean I expect people to turn up in suits, although that is nice on the occasions that it happens, but I do expect somebody to be dressed in a smart and clean fashion and to smell and look clean. There are no bones about it. We sell clean for a living. You need your cleaners and your team representatives to look clean and to take some pride in their appearance, because we would hope that means they would take a pride in their job and their work. I would expect an applicant to have done some research on my business and the type of team that they might be joining. I absolutely love it when I interview a cleaner and they ask me a million billion questions about my business. That shows me that they are committed to wanting to join my team and that they care about the business that they're going to. An applicant should at least have checked out your website as an absolute bare minimum, and I would have hoped they would have checked out your social media profiles. It's important that the cleaner thinks that they can fit well with your business as much as it is important that you think the individual can match with your team. When somebody comes for interview and they give you a CV or they fill out your application form and it's got 1,000 jobs that lasted between a couple of days and a couple of months, this would be a massive red flag to me. One of my previous past lives was working in the recruitment industry. Now, if somebody has been temping and they've been doing that as a way to support their lives or pay themselves through college, then that would be a pretty viable reason, and you could go ahead and reference that recruitment agency and ask them for a list of the places that people have worked and if they've ever had any problems. If the individual has not been an agency worker and does not seem to be able to keep a job and is only in jobs for a very short space of time, I would want to know why. Why is that person not gelling with the team or the business? Do they have a problem with authority? It would be a very big red flag to check out. If the person gives you good vibes in the interview and you are thinking maybe it's just because they've not found the right business or the right company, for example, my advice to you would be to reference check as many of those jobs as possible to see if there's any sort of picture that you could build up about the individual. I generally do not have time for woe is me type people in any area of my life. So when I am doing an interview, if I have a person and as we're going through their application form and I'm asking them questions, if the person cannot take responsibility for anything to do with themselves and they are what I like to call a professional victim, and they blame every man and his dog for their problems, or the reason they left their job was because of this person, or the reason that happened was because of this situation. If everything in a person's life never seems to involve them as an individual, that is a massive red flag to me. That means I am dealing with somebody who can't take responsibility, probably won't be able to take criticism or direction very well, and someone who could turn into an absolute time-consuming nightmare. So I would be very careful and I would apply great due diligence in applying somebody who comes into an interview with an attitude that either the world is against them or with an attitude that the world owes them something, because they can be even more scarier than the former party. That was today's video. I hope that it has give you a couple of things to think about next time that you start recruiting or the next time you are interviewing somebody. I am going to be back here on Thursday with a really good Q&A that has been submitted to me via email from the newsletter. Which reminds me, if you are not a part of that newsletter, you really need it in your life. The details will be below. Please subscribe and please email me, because I like to have emails in my inbox. Until Thursday, have a very good week. Bye bye.